Hi, I'm Space Pigeon, the mod author of the Deadly Hazards mod for Starfield. By the way, if you don't know what Deadly Hazards is, check out this video right here, I think, before you continue with this video, and then come back. I'll also put the link to this video in the description. So if you have a keen eye, you might have noticed that this video is posted on a completely different YouTube channel, Melkepakken. That is me now. In case you didn't know, when I first released Deadly Hazards, I was under the name of Nath on Nexus Mods. Then I changed my name to Space Pigeon, and now my name is Melkepakken. Melkepakken is here to stay though. I will not bother changing my name on the Nexus Mods to Melkepakken because a lot of people just know Space Pigeon as the one that made Deadly Hazards. So I just added Melkepakken in the author notes or whatever. So this is my main channel. As I already said, it's called Melkepakken, but you can just call me Mel. That seems to work for most of the Americans that have said my name so far, and I actually kind of like it. Mel is cool. Anyway, this is my active main YouTube channel, and it's where I will basically be doing everything going forward. I did have another channel called Space Pigeon TV where I did upload one video for Deadly Hazards, but it is not something I'm going to continue doing. The reason for me mentioning this is that if you like what I do and you want to show support, subscribing to my YouTube channel here and leaving a like on this video will help tremendously, and it will be absolutely awesome. I'm completely new to all of this, so any support goes a long mile. I also started streaming live on Twitch under the same handle, Melkepakken. Feel free to follow me there as well to catch me live. I do all sorts of things there. I will be playing in Bethesda games, guitar streams where I play guitar. I have been cooking food live on stream. I've also been actually having a modding stream where I was working on updating Deadly Hazards to the most recent version of Starfield. If you want to learn more about modding Bethesda games, or maybe if you just have a question, feel free to come into my chat and ask me questions live, or just lurk if that's your thing. Link to all my socials and stuff are in the description down below this video, if I'm doing this right. Yeah. Anyway, enough hibba-jabba. Over to the main topic of this video. I have some important announcements to make in regards to my Deadly Hazards mod for Starfield. Two announcements, in fact. Here comes the first one. The very first announcement is that by very popular request, I have released an updated version of Deadly Hazards that is compatible with the recent update for Starfield. That is version 1.11.36 as of 1st of June to 2024. No, it's actually the 2nd of June now. Big heartfelt thank you to everyone who let me know how much they like my mod and how it's made the game so much more enjoyable for them. It means a lot to me, especially as someone that is new to being a mod author on Nexus, but not necessarily new to modding Bethesda games. Like, I've done that for years. I just never bothered to release anything. I was going to abandon the mod, but then a lot of people began to share how important the mod was to them, and I just couldn't let it die without giving it one last breath. I put a lot of time and effort into this mod, so I'm very happy to see that people enjoy it. This update to Deadly Hazards brings compatibility with Starfield's new in-game gameplay options. You can now disable or enable the majority of Deadly Hazards effects at will while in-game using these options. Setting the environmental damage and afflictions to advanced will give you the full Deadly Hazard experience, as the mod has always had since November 2023. You can then further configure the mod to your liking using the in-game settings menu that I have created. Setting it to normal will return the environmental gameplay systems back to the classic state the game has been at since launch, with soak suppression and everything. When you enter a hazardous plant with an extreme environment, your suit protection is just instantly depleted. That is basically what the normal mode is. However, some parts of Deadly Hazards will still be active. For example, the temperature system, the increased damage from hazards while not wearing a spacesuit, and vice versa. You're still getting some of the benefits if you decide to not play on the advanced option. But I highly recommend you do so. If you're going to download Deadly Hazards, you probably are going to play on the more hardcore difficulties of Starfield, I'm assuming. So yeah, setting it to off will disable all damage from the environment, basically all environmental damage, like expected. So everything will just work. It just works.
I'm not kidding.
I also found some minor bugs that I fixed that was actually in Starfield as well. Also in my mod, of course. Like I can't do everything perfect, so sometimes there's mod, but luckily nobody has ever noticed that bug, so cool. And also the meshes have been updated to work with a new version of Starfield. So that means that this version requires a new update of Starfield. To summarize, essentially Deadly Hazards now serves as an extension, a very depth extension for that matter, and extensive for Starfield's new environmental gameplay systems. Previously it introduced all these systems, but now as Bethesda have kind of upgraded the framework or the thing that lies underneath, I have just basically hooked the Deadly Hazards on top of that again. And yeah, so whenever you install my mod now, it will just work. And if you find the current systems lacking in terms of realism, difficulty or whatnot, then try out the Deadly Hazards my mod. Maybe it will fix all your pet peeves with the current system in Starfield. As a side note, I have seen a lot of threads recently about people reporting that the suit resistance stats are not working as they should. And this is true, by the way. There are two reasons for this, all of which I resolved in Deadly Hazards and the community patch back in November 2023. I think I did this in October actually. So if you're using my mod, or Starvival for that matter, because that mod also does this fix, you don't have to worry about this at all. But in case you're curious to what this is about, people have reported that the suit resistance stats aren't working as expected. People have tested that doesn't matter how big or resistance stats you have, the suit protection still lasts just as long and you also take just as long to die. This is because the spells, this is what things are called in the game engine, have been set up with the incorrect type. They should be a disease, not an ability. So the 5 spells that govern the environmental effects of extreme planets, extreme environments, are set up to be abilities and not diseases. This is a problem because an ability spell is something that isn't inherently hostile. So the game engine doesn't really care for the resistance stats, but if it is a disease, then it will, because the disease can theoretically damage the player. So the diseases will actually factor in the resistance stats into the equation, while ability spells will ignore everything. It will just flat out ignore it. So this is why the resistance stats do not work. Also, there are some magic effects, which is the effects that make things actually happen. Some of the magic effects have been set up with the wrong resistance stats. So if the player, for example, see that, well, yeah, this hazard source says that it's thermal, right? Thermal of origin. It's a thermal hazard source. But then the resistance stats is corrosive. So that's not very intuitive for the player. So there you go. Now that is cleared up, you don't have to make any threads about it and discuss it now. It's a bug that Bethesda needs to fix. I'm assuming, at least. I hardly believe this is intentional, because it just adds so much more to the game if they have if the resistance stats work, because then you need to actually take care of which spacesuits you are wearing. By the way, weathers, hazardous weathers are completely different gameplay elements than extreme environments from planets. Weathers, they come and go, while extreme environments, they are constantly happening while the player is exploring the planet's surface until they leave the surface or enter a sealed environment. So yeah, only the extreme environments are bugged, and as you can see, the weathers and waters have all been set up to be diseases, as they should, as you can see right there. So yeah, again, I caught it last year when I first released Deadly Hazards, so if you have Deadly Hazards, you don't need to worry about this. Now, I also want to talk briefly about Deadly Hazards Oxygen. Now, this used to be something that was a part of Deadly Hazards, but now it is a standalone mod, and also a standalone module of Deadly Hazards. Essentially, Deadly Hazards features many additional modules to further enhance your space survival experience. One of such modules are the Deadly Hazards Oxygen module. This one makes it so that you can now actually run out of oxygen. You can suffocate. And it's complete with watch integration, craftable items, findable items, lootable items, buyable oxygen tanks, actually oxygen boosters, that's what they're called now. You can do research projects and repurpose used oxygen boosters and fill them up again. It also makes you consume more oxygen when you do certain actions and also get certain afflictions. This one also received a small update. All it did was basically just update the meshes for the new items. Speaking of enhancing and fixing Starfield's environmental gameplay systems, Starvival by, let's see if I can pronounce this mod author's name, Ikokmiabidli. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize. One of Starfield's most popular survival mods have recently updated to include its very own take on environmental gameplay systems and limited oxygen supply system. It's absolutely awesome, and it's a great alternative to Deadly Hazards if you're looking for something else. Deadly Hazards do make things quite a bit more complex, whilst Starvival's approach is more streamlined and built more around the vanilla systems to enhance them. Right now, Starvival is pretty much a complete suit with everything you need to turn Starfield into a space survival game. Deadly Hazards and Starvival are in fact compatible. It's something that we have both had as a focus point while working on our mods. But if you use Deadly Hazard Oxygen, be sure to disable Starvival's own oxygen system through its in-game configuration book. Also, its optional module that introduces its own take on the enhancements to the environmental gameplay system. This, of course, is not compatible with Deadly Hazard's core module. You can mix and match. Yeah, you can use Deadly Hazard Oxygen and Starvival's and NV Hazards if you prefer that combo, or the opposite. Just make sure to not have both Deadly Hazards ESM and NV Hazards enabled at the same time, because that would make sure to check out Starvival and see if that is your cup of tea. Now over to my final announcement. This might be some sad news for some of you, but I have unfortunately decided to stop working on Deadly Hazards from this point going forward. The reason as to why is simple. I simply do not have time to work on the mod anymore. I am, after all, just one guy. And as you may have noticed, I'm trying to become a content creator. I'm also a live streamer. I also play guitar in a power metal band, which means I gotta do a lot of things related to that. And since it's power metal, I also got to play a shit ton of guitar. Shredding, sweep picking, tapping, everything. You need to practice it all the time. In addition to all of that, I also have a full-time job from 9 to 5, 5 days a week. I also play Dungeons & Dragons with a group of friends 1 time a week, and I try to work out at least 3 times a week as well, but I suck at doing that. But it's getting better. I barely have time to play video games these days also. I got started on Dragon's Dogma 2, but I haven't been able to play for months, and I haven't played a single game since Dragon's Dogma 2 came out. I do really like modding Bethesda games, and I have done so for a long time, but I have to sacrifice some things in order to make time for all the other things that I want to do. Let me just make it clear that the reason for me stopping development on this mod is not because I don't like Starfield. I simply just do not have time to work on Deadly Hazards anymore. I really care for this mod, and I've spent an incredible amount of time working on it, so I'd love to see someone else pick it up and just breathe new life into it. It would be completely awesome. It's kind of a bittersweet feeling. I get this incredible weight off my shoulders, but I also feel sad that my mod will eventually die. I know this is not what a lot of you wanted to hear, and I'm sorry for that. You all been very nice to me ever since my debut as a mod author. I highly appreciate that. I may return in the future. I mean, who knows, if this content creator thing works out, I may get more time on my hands. However, there are a lot of great alternatives to Deadly Hazards already, like Starvival, for example, and let's face it, we're just in the beginning. Like, the creation kit isn't even out yet. Deadly Hazards also have completely open permissions. You can literally take the mod and make a minor adjustment to it and just upload it and call it your very own mod. I don't give a shit. All I ask is in return is that you credit or give me some form of attribution. I don't care for donation points. You can keep them all, but consider putting 10% of the donation points to the X-Edit team, because without them none of this would have been possible. Yeah, as I said, even if I stop working on it, someone else can carry the torch and pick up the mod. As we have seen time and time again, actually, happened to many different mods from the Elder Scrolls and Fallout series across the many years and history of the modding community. Deadly Hazards right now works as expected, and it will probably do so for quite a while. It takes a bit to actually break the mod. This time it didn't actually break, but it just wasn't working very well with the gameplay options. The only thing that broke properly was the meshes, but those you could fix with a tool that someone released on the Nexus. Also, as a side note, Some of you might be wondering if such a mod like Deadly Hazards is hacked together or unstable, because it's this big mod that was made before the creation kit engine, and in fact it was released like almost immediately after Exit it was officially released. But no, the Deadly Hazards is not hacked together or unstable. It is a high quality standard, and in fact if the construction kit, oh my god, that's old, that's Oblivion. If the creation kit came out tomorrow, nothing in regards to the actual implementation of the mod would change. The mod has been developed properly and works seamlessly with the game, and is of a high quality standard. So yeah, that's it. I made this video for transparency and to give something back to you all, since you have been so nice to me. You all deserve to know why I stopped working on this mod, and an explanation as for my disappearance. Alas, cannot continue to work and develop on this mod right now, as I have to put my focus onto other things that I want to do more. Thank you for your patience in waiting for me to update my mod, and I hope you enjoy Daily Hazards while it lasts. Also, thank you for understanding. Space Pigeon out, Melkepakken in. Yeah, I'm Norwegian, by the way.